and welcome to another lesson on the ARK development kit. Today I will be showing you how to implement a river and a waterfall. Also, I'll quickly demonstrate on how to implement a lake because people have been asking for it, but it's actually quite similar to adding an ocean. So first off, we're gonna start here on my test map. You can see I have a beautiful lake and my river here. To start off with the river, I'm going to quickly turn off the waterfall so you can see the river a lot better. The river is basically going to be a static mesh that you import yourself. The static mesh is pretty basic shaped, but it should approximately have the shape of the river that you have created within your map. As you can see here, if I toggle off the landscape, at the position where a waterfall should be, the static mesh just goes straight down. As you can see here, it just goes straight down and then it goes flat again at where it needs to be. The options that you should have for the river is that you just change the material here towards river water underscore mat island underscore mic, and then that's already too much, you just need the mic. So once you got that set up, you can go towards the collision tab, hit the collision preset, put it on custom, and then make sure that visibility and weapon are toggled off. After that, you don't have to change anything and you're all set. Now once we've got that done, we're gonna move over towards the physics volume. The physics volume we know is going to be the one, or the volume that determines when you are swimming. You want to place those in the areas where you should be able to swim. The fluid friction should be on 0.95, the same settings as the ocean. Water volume is going to be ticked, and physics on contact should also be true. Now over to the post-processing volume. Generally it's the same settings. The only thing that you should change here is on the MISC. You should go to blendables, and then the first one should be pp underscore underwater river extinction instead of underwater extinction underscore instance. So make sure you change it to that, and then you should be set. Now if you go underwater, you'll see that it will be the nice gray blackish color instead of the beautiful bluish underwater color which we have over here. So that's pretty easy to change. So that's actually it for creating the volumes for your river and importing the river yourself. I would suggest, if you want to create a static mesh for your river, sorry, that was an email. I would just suggest you create the static mesh inside a 3D editable or a 3D editor such as 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, or any other editor that you can think of. Then you just import it into Unreal Engine and then you can use it. So now we're gonna move over to the waterfall. As you can see, the waterfall looks pretty pimp. I mean, it's just awesome to have them in the game, but they require a certain amount of things. So to quickly break it down, the waterfall consists of the top mesh, which we have right here. It's gonna be just a simple plane that is gonna be curved, but it's gonna have an animated texture. As you can see, it's pretty basic, looks pretty okay. And if I go to wireframe, you can see that it's basically just a bunch of vertices. If you want to use this one, or I will get over to that later. Now I've created some streams that should visualize the downward motion of a waterfall. Let me quickly grab these 4 volumes as well. And here you have it, the GPU water. This is pretty much the fog that it's creating. As you can see, we've got this one here that looks like this is a lot more water instead of the foggy type of stuff, I would say. And then at the bottom, you can still see three objects here. 2 of them are the mist that the water splashes should create, and the actual water splash itself, so the impact. As you can see, as I drag it around, it looks pretty pimp. So now I'm going to delete all of this and we're gonna create it ourselves, so that you've seen the process on how I did it and that you can easily do it yourself as well. To start off, I'm going to at the top of the waterfall, and you can search here in your, if you make sure you have the game folder selected, then you in the filter here you're gonna type b4_far, and here you can see 3 waterfall planes will pop up. You can create a custom one on your own, but you can also just use these. I mean, they work fine, they're pretty, and they look amazing. Once you drag this one in, you'll notice that the texture is not the same as the original water here. So what you're going, or what you should do, is click on the material here, change the water to mt_water, but then short, so WTR, and then fall, and then you should take the 02 material. As you see, once I pick that, it will change and it will look awesome. Now I'm going to place that just by using the modifying tools. You can place it at a location where you feel comfortable with. Make sure it overlaps the end of your river, because otherwise it's going to look pretty ugly. So I'm actually quite satisfied with this position. I might want to check the height on it. As you can see, currently it is underwater. Yeah, a little bit underwater, so I'm going to drag it a little bit up. Alright, and now that's good. Second thing that we're going to add is going to be the steam. So here, also here in your content browser, you're going to search for ps_GPU water. You can just take the first one, it's going to be all fine. Once you drag it up, you'll see it looks awesome. You just have to rotate it for a little bit. I'm not going to rotate it 90 degrees because that's not necessary here. 85 is enough for this, for the angle this waterfall has. So you're just going to try to place that as much underneath the waterfall as possible. Let me see. I want the clouds to actually hit the floor or get close to the floor. So I'm quickly going to see where those particles are going to land. I would not suggest overdoing the creation of, or overdoing the detailing of a waterfall. This is because all these things that we're currently implementing are particle systems. That's what a PS stands for. Particle systems are extremely heavy for games. So just try to use them as few as possible, because it's gonna make your game extremely laggy and actually pretty fast as well. Next up, we're gonna add the mist. Just gonna take the large one. It's gonna be fine. So we're gonna drop that one at the bottom. This is gonna be the impact, or this should indicate the impact. And because we have a pretty big waterfall, I'm just gonna add one on the right side and one on the left side. Now next up, we're gonna go ps_waterfall, and yeah, let's take the medium. I mean, we saw how large, or before when I was picking the waterfall plane, the one at the top here, you could also see that there was a large version. So I think that we're gonna be okay with medium for now. You want to actually drag one of the regular falls in there and also one with the param. The difference between them, well, that's going to be pretty obvious. I do not know why that happened. I'm terribly sorry. As I drag them up, you can see a pretty big difference in the particle systems. Yeah, let's actually start off with the regular one. Just gonna put it right here. Hopefully it's gonna look pretty pimp. Think that I might even put this more in the middle of the waterfall. Just copy and pasting them right now, actually. Now I'm gonna grab the other one, drag it down, obviously, because it's way too high. You can actually place this one a little bit more above your waterfall. As you can see, the particle effect, or the particle system, only starts about here. So dropping it off a little bit above your waterfall isn't a big problem. Let me find a suitable location for it. One about here. I think I'll also add 3 of these, or maybe even 4. But as I already said earlier, do not try to overdo it. You can make like a gigantic waterfall where there's like 50 particle systems. Your waterfall might look good, but nobody's ever going to be able to come near it because their whole PC will just lag out. Alright, so now we've got all this. The last thing we still need is going to be the impact on the water itself. And instead of typing waterfall here, you're going to have to type water FLL instead of the A in between it. And we're just going to take a large impact because, as we can see, the waterfall is pretty wide. We could maybe even put a medium in there. Let's have a look. Nah, the medium one is not. It's nah, it just doesn't cut it. So let's just take the large one, put it in there, and bada bing, bada boom, we have created a waterfall. Now we've got all these files here, or all these actors here. I would suggest you group them. For example, name this FX, visual effects, and keep everything organized, because if you have a gigantic map and you're gonna have a lot of stuff, every time you have to search for something, it's gonna take you ages to find it. I already noticed it on the main island. Sometimes when I loaded stuff up, it was really confusing because it just took me 5 minutes to even search one object. So try to keep everything as organized as possible and you should be fine. Alright, so now last but not least, I will quickly show you on how to implement the lake. The lake also consists of, or basically consists of 3 elements. The lake itself, so the visual representation, the physics volume, and another post-processing volume. The physics volume and the post-processing volume are the same as you use on a regular ocean. The post-processing volume only has the far transition region set to 15,000. Now the shared lake is going to be the blueprint island water plane that you can regularly find. Drag it in to your map. The only thing you will change is the size of it. You can tweak this a little bit, just make sure it covers the area where a player is going to be able to swim. And then the top material, or the water plane, you're going to have to change that to shared lake. I would actually do that before you change the size, because it might mess up. So just search for shared lake and you'll be good. And the top material, you're going to change that to lake water underscore Matt Island underscore Mick. Pick it up and you're good to go. Other than that, you don't have to change anything on the island water plane, and you have successfully now implemented a river and a lake. So congratulations. That was it for this lesson. If you have any questions, just post them in the comment section below and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible.